I'm Wolf from Healing Wolf Coaching, here to breathe with you through the winds of recovery, to breathe those beautiful winds in. And I'd like to take a moment and teach everyone how to do the relaxing breath before I talk about recovery and two things that are really helpful for it. So the relaxing breath goes like this. We inhale for a count of 4. Hold for a count of 7. Exhale for a count of 8. On the exhale, I forgot to exhale for a couple of seconds. But so it's 4, 7, 8. Let's do it one more time. Inhale for the count of 4. Hold for 7. Exhale for 8. Four, 7, 8. That's the relaxing breath. If you do a few rounds of that, maybe even 4 or 5 rounds of that, it calms your nervous system, brings you back into parasympathetic mode of nervous system activity, the rest and digest mode. That's one that I learned from Dr. Weil years and years ago. And he makes the case that if you practice that on a regular basis every day, that the benefits happen over the course of months. You get more and more calm in your system, more and more regulation, as some people like to say. I just feel like it's just the natural way of being present, is to have that very relaxed body and mind as you're moving through life. Today, I want to talk about, to recover, we need science and storytelling. So we need the science because we have a conscious mind, and a lot of us on a recovery journey from chronic pain or anxiety or panic attacks, we are intellectual. We want to analyze. We want to study a bunch of books. We want to learn everything that we can about it. And so we want the science. We want to know that other people have studied this and it's going to work. So we have scientific studies like the Boulder back pain study, which shows that if you have, I think it was 8 to 10 weeks of intervention with PRT, pain reprocessing therapy, you get some pretty dramatic recoveries, even when with people with back pain who've had the back pain a long time. I have on my YouTube channel a reading of an article from The Guardian about the way the mind-body approach is helpful even with medical issues, to calm our nervous systems and to embrace the feeling of sensations that are there to protect us. So we need that science. And then we also need storytelling. We need to be telling ourselves stories. We need to tell stories about animals. We need to tell stories about religious figures that we respect and honor. We need to tell stories to ourselves about the journey. And so those stories become a part of our processing of reality. And if we process reality by saying, well, this is what the Buddha did in this situation, or this is what Jesus did in this situation, or this is how we look at a recovery journey because we've heard a bunch of recovery stories from watching them on YouTube. This is how it can go. And that gives us a little bit of, or even a lot of guidance of confidence based on the stories. And we also tell ourselves a story with every thought almost, especially when it's self-reflective. So we might be telling ourselves a story of, oh, this is the hardest time of my life. I just saw a friend of mine on Facebook and saying it was the hardest time of her life. And you're telling yourself a story that this is the hardest time of your life. Guess what? Mind processes that it is the hardest time and makes it harder. It gives you more protective sensations. If she's dealing with chronic pain or anxiety, I'm not certain, but definitely telling yourself the story that something is really hard is very different from telling yourself, a story of that you're very strong, or that these so-called challenges are actually strengthening exercises. So in a workout, you could tell yourself, oh, this is really hard. I don't think I'm going to be able to lift this much or do this many reps. Or you could tell yourself a story. I'm getting stronger every day. Every repetition that I do gets me stronger. And that's so different. Hard makes you feel, when you say that something else is harder than you are, then that creates a mindset of weakness, versus saying, this is an opportunity. This is a place where I can build strength. This is a challenge to my system. And yes, when you notice an emotional challenge come in, it's often common to react to that with a great deal of stress, which is protective neurochemistry coming through. But in reality, you could also respond to that and say, this is an opportunity for me to grow. This is an opportunity for me to grow. And by grow, I mean become more comfortable with how uncomfortable some things can be, with how threatening some things can even be. And by threatening, I mean there are very real situations. If you're out driving and there's some crazy traffic situation, yeah, this is a real threat. These are fast moving vehicles, right? But your nervous system can interpret that. Let's say you have you swerve, and because someone pulls out in front quickly and you're fine, you move beyond it. Then you have a nervous system that's protecting you. It's amped up, it's ramped up. You've got anxiety in terms of maybe adrenaline, cortisol, all this stuff. You got some stress stuff happening. So how do you deal with it? Right? Do you feel it and say, oh, that protective sensation is pretty good. Here's my opportunity to train in that sensation, to train in, okay, yeah, there's adrenaline. What am I going to do with it? Maybe I'll do some relaxing breath to bring myself back into balance, or maybe I'll just feel it. That's another way to diffuse it. Sometimes just feeling it and be like, wow, I was really scared there. I was really ready to respond, or I'm really angry, like really pissed off that driver did that to me. Like, feel that anger, really hold that anger for a bit, just feel it, and let go of the blame or judgment or storytelling around the other person, what they did, why they're a jerk, why they're whatever. We don't know. Who knows what's going on with them? Could be a medical issue, could be total cell phone addiction, distraction. There's something going on, but we don't need to, we're not responsible for that. We're responsible for ourselves. So the science as well, there's so much science out there, and it's a lot of it is great science. A lot of it is going to show you that expressive writing can make it so that your nervous system will be calmer, that your health outcomes will be better. There's so many studies on that. Dr. Hanscom is the chief on that. He's a medical doctor who uses expressive writing as a main component of his recovery book, Back in Control. And so laughter yoga, hundreds of studies about how if you just laugh for 10, 15 minutes a day. I just started a new Instagram channel called Laugh with Wolf, and it's already quite interesting the way some people embrace laughter and others feel very uncomfortable with laughter. And so it's a mindset thing, but the science is solid that immune system gets a boost and blood pressure goes down, cortisol goes down. There's so much science, and it keeps coming out. If you want to read some of that science, go to laughteryoga.org. They have a whole page of all the research papers on that. So what else? What other science? Pain science. There's a lot of pain science. And the pain science that's geared toward the type of recovery we're on is going to be mind-body, neuroplastic pain science, the science that's showing that we can recover from within. We can recover from getting into our unconscious mind, moving into unconscious mind, and building a mindset of recovery and lowering fear levels. Look at outcome studies about people who go into surgeries and who do relaxation do things like hypnosis, do things like meditation leading up to the surgeries, or even use certain medications that create a mindset of relaxation, the outcomes are so much better, because fear is not really useful unless there's a real threat and a real fight. And what I mean is a physical fight where we're actually fighting something or someone who's attacking, or there's a challenge, a physical challenge where we need to lift something heavy in order to survive, or we need to crawl through somewhere in order to survive. And we need that extra strength. We need that extra power to move some rocks or whatever. It's a very primitive, primal thing. So please take a moment and subscribe to my channel or follow me here so that I can continue to spread my message of recovery. I'm here to help other folks on a journey of recovery from chronic pain, from anxiety, from panic attack, from arrhythmia, from a lot of things that I went through. And I just think it's way better to have more voices in the field, more folks who are here to help you with their confidence, with their wisdom. So that's what I'm doing. And I appreciate your support. I also would love to hear what's going on with you. Drop me a comment and let me know what's happening. If you'd like to work with me one-on-one, head over to healingwolfcoaching.com and book a free consult call, a strategy call, where you can tell me what's been happening with you and we can figure out how to move you forward. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Try that relaxing breath, 4-7-8. See how it transforms your life. There's plenty of science around it and storytelling. So use both. We need both on a recovery journey. I'll see you in the next video.